so much talent in this house. And I see talent sitting right out there, too. We have talent up here. We have talent out there. We are so blessed. The power of love. You know, it don't take money and it don't take fame to know the power of love. And we're all focused on love right now, aren't we? It's that time of the year. It's that time of the year. Love is in the air. And that's a good and wonderful thing, because love is the highest vibration there is. So if that vibration's out there in the air and we're walking in it every day, how amazing is that? All that high vibe and energy flowing around us. Love is the highest vibration, and it's also called the miracle tone. The miracle tone. This week is traditionally a week when many people are focused on love, focused on giving love, giving flowers, giving cards, giving gifts, going out on dates, and then receiving love, receiving those flowers, receiving those cards, receiving those gifts, going out on those dates. Isn't it a lovely time? And we're all looking for love in our life. I think from the time we're born until the time we die, we're looking for love. We're looking for that, resonating with that energy that is divine love. If we don't have it in our life, we're looking for it. Sometimes we might start looking in the wrong places. And then we might look in the right places sometimes too. And sometimes we find ourselves recovering from a love. And then sometimes we find ourselves grieving a love that was lost, a loved one that we lost along the way. But wherever you find yourself in life, you're probably giving more than just a passing thought to love this week, when all the world seems to be focused on it. You know, and there are different types of love. There's affectionate love, or more commonly called brotherly love, where we have that for our friends and our family. It's a supportive love. It's a kind love. That golden rule love, where we treat others the way we want to be treated. Then there's romantic love. That comes in a couple of different ways. It comes from that playful, flirtatious love when we first meet someone that we're interested in. We feel drawn to them, and we start flirting. We start immersing ourselves in that person. We immerse our whole life in that. We're hardly aware of anything else going on in the world. We are so immersed in that love. Anybody ever been there? You know, my wife and I are starting our 15th year together. We just celebrated our 14th year. And I can honestly tell you, it just keeps getting better and better. And that's when romantic love becomes enduring love. It becomes that enduring love that just becomes part of us, where two become one. And we are better because of the other person. We are better for knowing their love, and we are better for giving that love. And then there's motherly love, that love between parent and child. It's motherly love, even if it's fatherly love. You know, it's the same, fatherly and motherly love. Many call that unconditional love. And sometimes, though, that parental love is unconditional until. It's unconditional until you misbehave just that last time. And then we have self-love, compassion, respect, and love for ourselves. A lot of us will take care of all those other loves, and we neglect that. We neglect that self-love. But I will share with you that you must first love yourself before you can love another. And you can only love another to the capacity that you do love yourself. So if you meet someone and you want them to be the love of your life, will you be the love of your life? And it will happen. Because then you will be able to love to that full capacity. And then there is agape love. That selfless love. That love that we share, that we have for all creatures, great and small, all people. I did another thing at the school this week on Friday. And then I go next Wednesday. That love. I was sharing with the children because I've kind of got it down to a little science now. I go in and I tell them a few little stories about Grandmother Spider. And I talk about my moccasins on my feet. And then I don't know, I guess it's the minister in me. I start talking about how we all are more alike than we are different. I say, even though our skin tones are different, and our eyes are different, and our hair color's different, we are more alike than we're different. And then I go in to tell them how it's their choice. It's always their choice whether they're happy or sad during the day. And it just so happened right when I got to that point, one little girl started crying. Because she had gotten up to go throw something in the trash, and another little boy had scooched right into her seat. You know that. And she came back and she started crying because she wanted to be next to her friend. So the teacher put her in another seat. And I said, so that happened. Nothing you can do to take it away, nothing you can do to change it. All you can do is control how you feel about it. You can be sad and you can cry. Or you can decide, well, that happened, and I'm sitting here, and I'm happy about it. And you can smile. And she wiped her tears away and was smiling the rest of the day. But what a beautiful experience. I've been doing these little classes where I teach Native American storytelling and a little bit of spirituality with these children, and all the schools are mostly on the south side of St. Pete. And it's been such a beautiful, beautiful experience. But love is love. Love is love, and I see that in those children's faces. Love is love. Love is love. Has the ability to transform an ordinary moment into something magical. Love is similar to alchemy, as both are capable of transmuting something basic into something golden. It's the power of love that makes life so exciting, so exhilarating, so worthwhile. To have experienced love resonating from another person is to have your life experience transformed. And you may know you're loved. Some people just know it deep down. I am loved, and they are able to step out boldly. Some people think they're loved. I think somebody loves me. I think somebody, but they're just not quite sure. It's not a knowing they have. Maybe you do, or maybe you don't. But how do we get from that place where we think we're loved rather than we know we are loved? Because it's not in the other person. It's not in the other person or what the other person might do for us or show for us or bring us flowers. It's within us. How are we receiving the love? Because we are born loving. You see babies, they are born loving. They're smiling, they love life. But then we learn fear. And we are born loving, and then we learn prejudice. Because those children in that classroom, many of them don't yet know prejudice. We are born loving, and then we learn judgment. We are born loving, and then we learn hate. It's a spiritual journey to get back to that pure place of love we are born with. Because we come into this physical being, into this physical body, as a spiritual being filled with that divine love. Children have it. They're joyful. They resonate that love out there. But then they learn. They learn hate. They learn prejudice. They learn fear. And some of that goes away. But our Creator loves us unconditionally. You received that breath of life from God, your Creator. You took in that life force energy, that chi, and accepted God's love when you were first born. And God loves you unconditionally. No matter any mistakes you may make or any that you have perceived you have made, God loves you unconditionally. No matter that you feel unworthy and unlovable. Unconditional love is a gift. It is the gift, plain and simple. No strings attached. Love to be accepted and received into your heart. Come on, I want you to give yourself that gift of self-love, and accept it and receive that divine love into your life. You are good enough. You are worthy. You are lovable. Now I can see that struck a chord with some people. Some people sat up a little straighter and smiled a little brighter, and some people sunk in their seat a little bit. You all are worthy. You are lovable. You may be doubting it, but I know it to be true. You are all lovable. Knowing and affirming you are lovable and allowing love into your life is the greatest, most profound gift of truth that you can give yourself. I have to tell you, I am privileged. I am honored, and I am humbled to serve this amazing community. I am truly grateful for the love I receive from this community. Right here in this sacred space that once was a normal place, but now on Sundays it is a sacred space. We come together in community, and we learn to accept and know we are beloved. Somebody walked in for the first time today and said, "You are all just radiating." And we are. We are. Because we come in here and we know we are beloved. Each and every one of us. And when we accept and know, truly know we are beloved, we are empowered to show up with an abundance of love. You find yourself living each and every day to your highest potential, embracing those infinite opportunities and infinite possibilities, knowing you are truly favored as we all truly are. Each one of us is favored of God, our Creator. That gives us a powerful boost of self-confidence and a powerful boost of self-worth. Now I'm going to share a story about my papa. And I have shared it once before, a couple years ago, so some of you may have heard it. Please just bear with me, forgive me. But I know that it was when I talk about love, it's one of the things I just have to talk about. My Papa Webb is my mom's dad. My Papa Webb grew up in the Appalachian Mountains. He's got an old name, Worley Franklin. Worley Franklin. And he married Josephine Ophelia. You know, those are good old men. So Ophelia and I have had a heart connection since the day we met. I said, "You have my grandmother's name." Well, my grandmother and grandfather were hardworking people. My grandfather and grandmother have 14 children. 2 that died in infancy. My mom was not the oldest, but one on the older. She was more on the older side than the younger ones. So she helped our mother take care of all of those children. And my papa, he was a coal miner. He was a coal miner in southeastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, and East Tennessee. And then he was also a carpenter, because he took whatever work he could get. sometimes working for a quarter a day to support those 14 children. But my papa was also a preacher. He and his brother had a Pentecostal church, a small church of Jesus Christ. And I was married in that church when I married the father of my sons. We were both Marines. I was married in that church by my great uncle because my grandfather had passed. But my grandfather was injured in the coal mine. He had a spinal cord injury. They used to have to lay on that little cart and go down deep into the mine. And a jagged rock cut him right back on the back of his neck and cut into his spinal cords. He had a spinal cord injury. And they said he'd never walk again. But Papa did walk. But Papa drug his left leg when he walked. But Papa, he was a proud man. He didn't like people to see him with that affirmity. He didn't like people to see him walking and dragging that leg. So generally, when you went over to Mama and Papa's, Papa was sitting in his green armchair. Now, I don't know if y'all are familiar, but we had those chairs, and they had that horsehair. They call them horsehair. They're a little itchy and scratchy. But that was the best chair. That was the best chair. Papa sat in that chair, and it had those two arms on it, and each arm was about that wide. You know? It was just big enough for a tall, skinny girl to climb right up on and sit right there under my papa's arm, right next to his heart. That was my space. And the other cousins could have that other side. But they knew this side was Kim's. Yeah. And a couple of my cousins would tell me, "You are not the favorite." When you're not here, I sit there. I said, "That's okay, as long as you're doing it when I'm not here. You can sit there all day long. As long as I'm not there, you can sit there." But I'd climb up there and sit with Papa and watch the comings and goings. Because, with 12 kids living, 12 spouses, bunch of cousins, I got a bunch of cousins. When I tell people, they don't believe me. Because my daddy was one of 11, so, yeah, I come from the Appalachian Mountains, and I'm serious about that. But I would sit up there with Papa, and every once in a while I'd say, "Papa, I am your favorite, aren't I?" I wanted that confirmation. I wanted to know. Papa, he'd say, "Well, Kimmy, I love all y'all. I love all of my grandchildren." And he would say that, and when he would say that, "I love all of my grandchildren." You give me that little wink. And I go, I know what that wink says. That wink assured me that I was loved. I was favored. I was his beloved granddaughter. And knowing that I was loved like that, gave me all I ever needed to transform ordinary moments into something magical. Even as an adult, my papa died when I was 6 years old. But even as an adult, that love carries me through. I feel it. When I say honor your ancestors, I'm honoring my mama and my papa first, and then all those that have come before, because I still feel their presence in my life. I still feel the love of their presence. And the presence of that love has allowed me to step out boldly, to grab with zeal what is mine to do. As Charles Fillmore once said, I paraphrase that a little bit. But get excited with zeal. And when you know you're coming from a place where you are beloved, where you are loved, that's the power. That is the power of love. When you truly know you are loved, it will change your life. When you see yourself as beloved, as favored, as lovable, you're going to step more boldly into that life. You're going to step up and step out into the life you are meant to live. And we are all favored. We all receive that God wink. Just as I received that wink from my papa. And looking back on that, looking back on that from this place in my life, I know I'm getting you. My cousins are watching. I know they are. Looking back on that, I know Papa gave them all that wink. Papa has that wink for each and every one of us to let us all know we were his beloved, to let us all know we were loved deeply and dearly, just as you are a beloved child of God, favored and blessed, living with divine love flowing through us, within us, and all around us. The air is vibrating with that divine love. And as we allow, we come into alignment with that vibration and that frequency. We are able to radiate that frequency and that vibration back out to the world. And we become a force of change in this world. You might as well believe it, because it is true. You are the one. You are the one that is loved. I want you to go ahead and say it. I am loved.
I am loved.
So what is the power of love? Jeremiah and Leslie and the voices sang that today. Lewis. Don't you wonder sometimes, just what is the power of love? Dr. Natalie Trent can teach you from a Harvard-educated medical researcher background. She can tell you exactly the power of love. And she's also a New Thought minister and a Reiki master, so she can tell it in a way you absorb it and understand it. We're going to try to get her to come down here. But the power of love, it's the force that allows us to step up and step forward in confidence and in faith, believing in ourselves and something more. The love that gives us a balanced and centered base to start from, a home base. It's the force that allowed Harriet Tubman to have the determination and the courage to embark on a solo journey to freedom. But then she reached her mark. She was free. She was in the north where she was free. And then she said, this isn't enough. Then she boldly returned back to the very place where she was enslaved to lead those she loved to freedom as well. And then after she got them to freedom, she said, that's not enough. And she went back again to bring out other people she didn't even know, not just the people she loved. She became a conductor on the Underground Railroad and returned time and time again to escort so very many to freedom. They started putting up posters all around looking for this man named Moses who was stealing the slaves. They were looking for this man named Moses because nobody could believe it would be a woman. Some even thought it was a white abolitionist in blackface doing it because they felt like a slave wasn't smart enough to be able to take them like that and get them away to freedom. But Harriet was so clever and so smart that she could snatch them up right out of the field while the overseer was sitting up there on his horse. And they just gone. The dinner bell rings and they're not coming. Where are they at? I was out there the whole time and they're not there. But nobody ever thought, nobody was looking for a woman. From the farthest reaches of their mind, a woman, a black woman, thwarting the slave hunters and leading so many to freedom, outsmarting them all. What gave her that courage? What gave her the courage to step up and know she could even do that? Because when she started on her initial journey, she didn't know she could make it. She had many times when she doubted she could make it. But then she went into prayer. And she knew she was favored, that God had a special job for her. God had a wink for Harriet Tubman. And that gave her the strength and the power to know that no man could stop her. She confronted her former owner later and said, right up to his face, it is not right for people to own other people. She knew without a doubt that she was favored, just as each and every one of you is favored today. Let that favor and let that love give you the strength and courage and power to step up and be like Harriet. Love, it's the force that allows anyone and everyone to perform great feats of heroism and small everyday expressions of kindness. Sometimes it's just your smile to a stranger on the street. Now, one of the practical spiritual tools I use in my everyday life is crystals. Crystals vibrate and resonate at specific frequencies. They emit those frequencies without fail. When we hold or keep a crystal close, it can help us raise our vibrations. It can alter our own frequency. Rose quartz. Rose quartz is a crystal that vibrates at the frequency of love. Of all the ancient solfeggio frequencies, 528 hertz is the frequency that is most significant. Its vibrations connect and resonate with everything within us and around us on both a material and spiritual level. When Tracy's up here playing her heart crystal bowl, don't you feel it? Even if you are in the back of the room against the wall, you feel that vibration. It gets in you. It gets in you. That's what a frequency of a crystal can do. And that frequency is known as the love frequency. And it's known as the miracle note. Rose quartz is best known for being the stone of unconditional love. It emits a vibration of love. It's a stone of both giving and receiving love. Rose quartz activates your heart chakra. Opens it up and activates it. Lets that energy start flowing. And it promotes positive energy. It enhances all types of love. Self-love, romantic love, love for others, brotherly love, that unconditional love, that parental love. This tiny but mighty baby pink wonder raises our self-esteem, restores our confidence, helps with emotional balance, releases stress and tension and even anger. So I want you each right now to reach up and under your seat and pull that card. You're going to find a card there, pull it off. That's a love gift. It's a small piece of rose quartz. I give you this crystal in love. I want you to keep it near you to raise your vibration to that miracle tone, to that love frequency. Allow yourself to align with the divine love that is so freely given to us by our Creator and share it out just as freely. As I told you a few Sundays ago, a crystal vibrates at the same frequency no matter the size. So that small piece of rose quartz vibrates just like at the same frequency as a big piece of rose quartz. The intensity and the volume is just because you keep it around you all the time. So when you keep that small crystal with you most of the time, you find yourself becoming aligned with and vibrating at the frequency of that crystal. So please accept this rose quartz and keep it close and align with it and let love flow more freely through you and from you. And I'm going to close with this. Love, it is the healing force. We are born with love. We learn fear. We learn prejudice. We learn hate. Let your journey center around releasing fear and embracing love, aligning with divine love. And in the words of Aaron Neville and Linda Ronstadt, I don't know much, but I know I love you. And that may be all I ever need to know.